Hey, Saluki fans. This is your men's basketball center, Barret Benson. You're listening to Saluki Standards, and here's your host, Connor Onion.
Hey, Barret Benson with some great voiceover work getting us started here on Week 3 of the Saluki Standards Podcast. Big thanks to Barret for that, and thanks for joining us again for Week 3. We're on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and you can check out Week 1 and Week 2 with Saluki Athletic Director Liz Jarnigan, and Week 2 is with Saluki Volleyball Coach Ed Allen. This week, of course, Barret Benson of Saluki Men's Basketball. Been a busy week for Barret. He's kind of done the media rounds now. John Locke, SIUSalukis.com, did a question and answer with Barret that was posted on Sunday. And I know Todd Hefferman has something coming out, including Barret as well, in the Southern coming up this week as well. So busy week for Barret. If you can't get enough, check out those pieces by John and Todd too. But Barret, as many Saluki basketball fans know, a grad transfer from Northwestern. He led the Wildcats to their first ever NCAA Tournament berth in 2017, and he's been huge, especially during the recent 7-game winning streak that the Saluki men went on. Had a couple of double-doubles to propel the Salukis to a couple big wins during that stretch. And personally, for Barret, it's really hard to find anybody that has anything bad to say about him, whether it's a coach or one of his teammates or somebody that's worked with him in the past. So really enjoyable conversation again. And here he is, Saluki center, Barret Benson, on Week 3 of the Saluki Standards Podcast. I was watching, I found some of your highlights from high school when I was getting ready for this last night. And I saw an interview that you did with Comcast Chicago. Yep. I noticed you were a little more tame with the hair back then.
Yeah, that's when I just started growing it. That was my senior year, I think. So I just started growing it at the end of my junior, and then I hadn't got it cut in a long time, obviously.
Since then?
Last time I got it shaped up was it was the end of my freshman summer at Northwestern. So it's been a while since I actually cut some length off, but obviously keep it tapered on the sides and everything like that.
Why'd you start growing it out?
I mean, I just wanted to get a different look. My whole life, I had a buzz cut, real low, and I have a huge head, and you can't really tell with my hair. So, I mean, it's technically proportionate to my body, but it's a large head. So with growing the hair out, it kind of balances everything out.
Was it to make you look taller too? Is that part of it at all?
It wasn't, but I mean, it helps. It gives you a couple inches. Make the joke that I'm 6'10", 7'5" with the hair. So but it's initially just for a new look, and I like it, so I've stuck with it.
Yeah, you got Yao Ming height with the hair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's get into this a little bit. Start with integrity, one of the baselines of the Saluki Standards. In sports, a lot of times that's defined as doing the right thing when nobody's looking. What's an example of you doing that throughout your basketball career?
I think with most things in life, but for this example, obviously basketball, integrity is a big thing about how far you're going to get in this game, because you can do all the work when people are watching you. You can go hard in practice, you can show up in front of crowds and work hard, but if you're not holding yourself to that standard, not having that high integrity of when no one's looking, when the championships aren't on the line, when you're not, if you're not working to that level, if you're not holding your teammates accountable as well, there's not going to be any success. And I think that's what we've seen with this season so far, with a lot of guys holding themselves to that standard and holding each other to that standard, and working when no one's there and getting their extra stuff in on their own. Not even on the court, just treatment and taking care of academics. Our GPA has been great as well. So that goes for a lot of things, but I think it's just making sure, like you said, when no one's looking, making sure you're holding everyone, including yourself, to that standard.
You obviously have a lot of physical gifts, being 6'10". That's one of the physical gifts that you have, but you've been working at this for a long time. When did it hit you that you had to do some of these things on your own to make sure you were prepared from a conditioning standpoint or a skill standpoint to play at this level?
Yeah, definitely. My older brother, he's 4 years older than me, played basketball at Hope College in Holland, Michigan, and that's someone I've always looked up to my whole life. So his work ethic is something that he taught me how to have my work ethic, essentially. And then when I got to college, my freshman year at Northwestern, showing up, the guy ahead of me, Derek Pardon, was a sophomore, 6'8" center at the Big Ten level. And just seeing his work ethic was something that showed me how far I had to go and what I had to match if I wanted to be successful in general. And it's guys like Derek and my big brother. I see them both as big brother figures, but my actual big brother and Derek, guys that just consistently worked at it and seeing how much success they've had from that, and understanding that there's going to be people more talented. And obviously I'm 6'10", but there's going to be 7-footers with 30-plus inch verticals who can dunk whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just unbelievably, and knowing that even if I'm not the most talented, not allowing yourself to be outworked is something that you got to pride yourself on for sure. And my older brother and some people I play with, Derek, to be one of those are people that have instilled that in me as well.
Your actual big brother, how much tough love was there? How much did he rag on you a little bit when you were growing up?
A lot, a lot, and that's the best part about it. There's always love, but he's always pushing me. When I was younger, I was always fat. I was a chubby little kid, and so he'd always bully me. And I, like, you know what I mean, big brother bully me, and that's how you get better.
Fat jokes?
Exactly. And, you know, but I'd use it to my advantage too. So if I ever got him, I'd just sit on him, and he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? But having that big brother who was always just doing the right things, being able to follow those footsteps, but also always challenge you, and you would get mad. I would always be mad when I lose to him in something, and not accepting that, okay, he's 4 years or he's 3.5 years older than me. He should be better than me right now. He should be more coordinated. No, that's my big brother. I need to beat him now. You know what I mean? And that's always pushed me to be ahead, and playing with older guys like that has always been a challenge, but that's something that's definitely helped me so far.
He's seen you have some success now at the Division I level. What's Big Bro think of you?
He's always been very supportive, always proud. He's the reason why I wear number 40. He wore 40 in college as well. So I want to continue that Benson 40 legacy, because it's something that all the success that I'm having now is because of him as well. So I want to give him that shout out for sure.
You give him some crap back now?
Of course. Of course. No, those one-on-one games, they get real hectic now, especially since he's done playing. He puts up a fight, but we definitely I've surpassed him for sure, and I'll let him know that, and we can get this on record too. But there's been some great battles, and it was not easy to get my first one-on-one win. I probably didn't get it till maybe freshman or sophomore year of college.
Wow.
He was holding it down for a while.
How tall is he?
He's 6'8". Okay. He's 6'8".
So you got a couple on him now.
I got a couple on him, and I've had a couple on him. I remember when I passed him, and I was like, yeah, like I got you. I'm little, bro, but now I'm taller now. But he was always older. He always had some more strength in me. So, but when I got that first one-on-one win, that was a big moment. That was a highlight of my basketball career right there.
It always seems to happen that way. I'm the older brother, and I was kind of in your older brother's position, ragging on the little brother growing up, and now he's 6'1", 6'2",
exactly.
beating up on it. It's weird the way that works out.
Roles reverse.
But one of the things that your teammates continuously say about you is how good of a leader you are. You've been identified as one of the guys that's been very vocal. I want to talk about your mom a little bit. You've talked about how you're proud of her for being an airline pilot, and she's obviously in a leadership role. How much did she help you establish your identity as a leader?
A lot. Like you said, really proud of my mom. It's an amazing thing, and such a cool profession, first of all. I mean, that's just something. I have like an unbelievable and kind of like a too much of a trust for like airline pilots, just because I know my mom and like the whole flying situation. So every time we get on a plane, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. But no, as far as leadership, she talks a lot about how it was really tough for her getting into the industry. It was a male-dominated field. It still mostly is, and there was no room for her to let up. There were days, and a lot of days, when people didn't want her there. People didn't want her in the industry, and they gave her a hard time, and they challenged her. And having that will that she was not going to fold, she was not going to let these people intimidate her, try to discriminate and get her out of something that she believed in. Having that strong a role model in my life, and when things got tough for me at whatever age, having someone who I know she's been through so much be there as a rock for me, and continue to support and talk me through life lessons. That's helped a lot, you know what I mean? And understanding that adversity is going to happen wherever it is, and knowing that if you continue to put your head down and this is something you believe in, that you stand for it and you keep working for it, it's been amazing. So it's definitely a great role model in my life.
Growing up, typically parents want to be strong for their kids and maybe not show them some of the hard things that they're going through. When did you become aware of some of the things that your mom was going through to try to break through in her field?
You know, like you talked about, they want to be strong, and my mom's one of the strongest people I know. So that's something that she's always, even when she told us about it, it was never she felt sorry about it or she's feeling sorry for herself. It was always that, you know, sometimes people are going to challenge you for what you look like, who you are, and but you know who you are, and you can't allow anyone to tell you anything different, and being able to step up in those positions. Obviously, she had hard days at work and she would come home, but it was never like she came home crying about it, or she was, you know, she was not really venting. She was just telling us about what needs to be done. And so having a goal-oriented person like that and such a strong woman in my life has been amazing.
When did it hit you that some of the life experiences that she shared with you through her profession came back to help you in what you're doing?
I guess probably – I'm not sure. I don't know if I could pinpoint like an exact time.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that's consistently just been a great something to rely on, great experience and mentor to have. But like you said, I can't really pinpoint an exact moment where it clicked.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
Right. You've talked a little bit about your time at Northwestern. You guys had great success as a team there. You didn't get a huge load of minutes there. But you're still the energy guy and, still encouraging your teammates. What did you learn about yourself as a leader when you weren't necessarily the focal point in the lineup?
Yeah. Well, just overall, the whole 3 years, I've learned a lot about myself at Northwestern. Obviously, those are 3 very formative years of my life that I'm very, very thankful for. Going through those experiences. Like you said, my freshman year was some of the best memories basketball-wise I've ever had in my life. We had a great season and made the first time in school history going to the NCAA Tournament. And then that sophomore and my junior year, they weren't very good years of basketball at all, as far as team-wise. But learning through those ups and those downs, how important it is to remain positive, to continue to work at stuff, because if you continue to push towards what your goals are and you don't allow yourself to be denied success, that you will find a way to reach what you're looking for. And being that positive aspect, being that energy guy, even at times where we went on some skids and games weren't going very well for us and times were tough, the relationships that you can build through that and the way that you can impact other people's lives, it goes beyond what the final records are, and definitely have lifelong relationships and a brotherhood that I walked away from that.
Did you feel like a leader then?
My freshman year, I didn't. I just felt like what I had to bring to the table was I just had to bring energy. We had great senior leaders that took care of like all the typical leadership stuff that you would think of with team-oriented stuff, and coaches doing a good job. So I just felt like, it was my job as a freshman. I'm new here. One thing I can do for sure is I'll bring energy, and that's where I kind of figured out that if you do that on a daily basis, it's going to make things a lot more fun when things are going well, and later on in my career makes it even better, or find some silver lining when things aren't going as well, too. So definitely that.
I mean, you're the guy. You got a bunch of freshmen on this team, a bunch of newcomers like yourself, but a bunch of younger guys too. Why do you think they trust you to be their voice a lot of the time?
I think it's because, well, first of all, the experiences that I've already gone through, playing 3 years at the Big Ten level, learned a lot, and being able to relay those experiences to them and different things that I've learned throughout that process. But I also, I think it's just true that people aren't going to listen to someone that doesn't work, that doesn't do the things that they talk about. So I think I had to make it very clear that I'm here to work as well. That's something I pride myself on. Like we talked about the work ethic.
Right.
That I set that standard first, and they see that I'm upholding myself to that standard, then they're going to listen to what I'm saying too, because it's not like I'm just telling them to do something. I'm not going to follow it up.
Right. That's a big responsibility. to have people looking at you constantly for an example. What's the hardest part about being a leader?
Hardest part about being a leader is, for me, I would say keeping yourself level, because through that role, you're expending a lot of energy, talking to guys, and you're building people up, and you're talking about different things. But then when it comes to yourself, if you make mistakes, you can't allow that to compound, because now if you're looking at yourself and you're getting frustrated, then you're not only hurting yourself because you're getting down, but you're also hurting the team because you're taking away from your output as well, as far as energy and
right.
and pointers and stuff like that. So keeping a level head and understanding when you have to boost it up a little bit and how to relate to different people,
right?
Which is it's a challenging thing, but it's a privilege to be in that position and interact with people in that manner, for sure.
Sure. Let's climb the ladder here with the Saluki Standards. The second tier there is toughness. We'll talk about the mental and physical stuff here in a minute, but I'm curious, how tough are classes at Northwestern?
Yeah, I know there's definitely some tough ones. I think probably the toughest one, if we're talking about tough classes, I took econ my freshman year when we were in our tournament run. And that was brutal. I had to take my final in a hotel room in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Man.
I was studying for it right after practice, leading up to it, as we're getting ready to play our first tournament game. So all those emotions are building, and even if there wasn't a tournament game, I'm not making excuses. That class was tough. But that was definitely the most challenging. There's really some good courses there that they'll definitely test how serious you are about academics.
You graduated from the medical school, right? Did you get a communications degree?
No, so I was radio, television, film, which is school communication.
Okay.
It was like journalism specifically. But so I was radio, television, film major.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this a little bit. The stand-up skit that you did.
Yeah.
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 How often do your friends bring that up from Northwestern?
Honestly, well, when it first happened, they brought it up a lot because obviously like joke around in the locker room and stuff, but it's never like I had any aspirations to doing any type of stand-up comedy or anything. And I just saw it like because I need to take 2 classes to make sure I was still on pace to graduate early in the summer. So usually take 1, so I was taking 2. And I was like, if I'm going to take another one, I want to do something fun. And I saw like writing for improv and stand-up comedy. So I was like, you know what? I mean, I might as well try it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get into writing anyways and probably comedy. So I was like, it's worth a shot. And so I signed up for it. And they're like, yeah, I mean, we're pretty much just working on a stand-up set for the whole summer, and then at the end we'll perform it at a real open mic. And I was like, oh, okay, let's try it out. And then I invited my teammates out, and they all showed up. Honestly, all the ones that didn't have class or anything, they came and super supportive, and they were surprised, and I was surprised how well it went. But it was a good experience all around.
What was your best joke?
My best, I didn't have any really like hard hitting like joke standalone, you know what I mean? But like as it flowed together, I think it was more of like a good storytelling combination. So I wouldn't like pinpoint one, but it was like overall it was nerve-wracking, but it was a great experience.
I saw a little snippet of it on YouTube. It's the Black Eyed Peas stuff was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, for
I
sure.
like that about growing up with your parents. But maybe this is a little bit of a stretch, but being in that performance arena and doing stand-up, how much tougher did that make you? I mean, that's got to be, like you said, nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. It was a different nervous than I'd ever had for like a basketball game or anything. Leading up to it, I'm sitting there with my mom, my dad, I think my mom was there. No, it was my stepmom, I think. My stepmom, my girlfriend. I'm sitting there and I'm sweating. I'm talking about my hands are like soaked, and I'm drinking water. I'm like, they had a pitcher on the table. I crushed the whole pitcher. I started drinking my girlfriend's iced tea, and I get up on stage and my mouth is like unbelievably dry. I'm talking about like I could not even like try to get a word out, and I'm going like 100 miles a minute. And I look, and one of my teammates is like looking back at me, like laughed at something. I was like, oh, like I'm good. Like I'm good. But like you said, it definitely was challenging, and it was a good practice to get your nerves under control. but it's definitely more nervous than I've ever been for a basketball game.
We're gonna see you on late night TV at some point.
We'll see. I mean, I get that YouTube clip going around somewhere. Maybe someone will pick it up and see if they need anything.
Get yourself a little personal portfolio going.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of toughness, though, back to basketball. In your mind, what's been the toughest moment or toughest thing you've had to overcome in your basketball career?
I think the toughest thing I had to overcome in my basketball career, probably my experience in Northwestern. Not playing a lot and fluctuating with minutes, and it's really tough. Like I said, I pride myself on being positive and putting energy out, but I really struggle with that a lot, honestly. It's a mentally draining situation where you can do so much more, and you want to do so much more and help your team, and your confidence takes knocks, and you take steps back and you question, like, am I good enough to still do this?
Yeah.
Is this what I still want to do? And that's tough because basketball is something that's been so central to my life for most of my life, and being in a situation where I couldn't impact the game in the way I wanted to, or you know what I mean? And sometimes I'll get opportunities too, and then I wouldn't perform how I needed to,
right,
to change my situation. And so then it's even more discouraging, and you kind of feel dejected in that situation, and it's tough to overcome that. But having the right people around me kept my mind right, like I talked about, with my family, my teammates, my girlfriend, people that continue to support me and continue to work at things with me. But going from that, overcoming that, and to get here, making the decision to transfer, was obviously a tough one too. And then coming here and now being put in a role, which is this what I wanted. That's what I asked for, to be in a leadership role, in a role where I have to be dependent on. And so having that switch from where I was at mentally, where I was at confidence-wise, to coming here, and now I have to be at a higher level every day, right, and be someone relied on, both of those have been great challenges. And obviously the second one is what I have been looking for, and it's a privilege to be in that position, like I've talked about. But obviously it's something new too, being in that position for the first time, and those are definitely two of the toughest things that I've had to deal with in different ways. But I've learned a lot from both of them, and right, very thankful for both situations.
Right. It hasn't always been 100% sunshine since you've been here. There have still been some tough moments, even though you're succeeding. How much do you have to think back to those moments at Northwestern when things are hard here, and remind yourself that you were able to overcome some of those tough moments before? That's
an everyday thing. Something that I've learned, something that I carried over from my time in Northwestern is, having affirmations, something that you can go to every day and repeat and look at and remind yourself who you are, what your beliefs are, what your core values are, and what you want out of this whole process, was something that has been really, really helpful for me, especially when I was in Northwestern. I mean, I just had them taped on my mirror every morning, look at it and repeat them, and then go out about your day and come back at night and look at it again and remind yourself, you know what I mean? So, but it's definitely something I've looked back on through the process,
yep,
and continue to look at, because something so formative to my life, and so recent, obviously,
right,
but definitely has been something that I've been able to look back at and use as fuel and inspiration to continue to keep going. What
would you tape on the mirror?
I would have a lot of. It's like it's a piece of paper. I have my whole thing. I'm not gonna go through it like in depth.
Yeah,
I could. I got it locked in here, obviously.
Yeah.
It's exactly. It's for me to keep locked in. Maybe if it come back on a different Saluki Standards
okay,
when I'm getting paid for this, maybe I'll share some of my secrets, but we can't go that far.
Okay, all right. When you're out in the real world, maybe we'll have you back on.
Come back. I'll share the recipes for success.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about some of the fun stuff though. Winning championships.
Yes,
you've won some regional championships in high school. Obviously, you guys went to the NCAA Tournament at Northwestern. How often, now that you're here at SIU, do you envision yourself, hoisting a trophy in St. Louis at Arch Madness?
A lot, especially as, the regular season's winding down. It's coming up soon, and that's something that obviously in the beginning of the season it's further away, and you got to grind through the non-conference, and then continue to work through that conference build-up, and it's getting closer to a sprint. The season starts off as a marathon. It's getting close to that last stretch where it's time to make a push, and that vision of rings and hoisting up a trophy like you talked about is something very prevalent on my mind. And that's not just in games, but thinking about in practice, how high of a level we have to be at and where we need to get to, continue to work to, for those things to become true. But that's definitely something that we're looking for. What
does it feel like when you get there? With some of the past experiences, what do you think it would feel like to win that championship?
Definitely would feel great. And I mean, I don't know if there's really the right words to really describe how amazing that feel. But like I said, it's got something that you got to keep working at, that we have to keep working at as a team, as a program, and just know that if we trust our work and we continue to get better, that we have a good chance at taking care of business.
There's a great picture of you after the Vanderbilt win in the first round of the NCAA Tournament 2017. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm pointing out.
Yeah. You got both hands in the air. The shot is from behind you, so you're looking up into the Northwestern crowd. Is that the one you're thinking?
I was thinking of a different one from a different angle, but no.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one I saw last night, you got both hands up in the air. There's a huge section of Northwestern people, and you're celebrating the win. What are you feeling in that moment?
Pure bliss, man. I mean, it came down to the end of that game too. Pulled out a close one, and man, there's nothing like that feeling of getting that first tournament win, because being there was surreal in the first place. It's something you dream about growing up, filling out brackets and seeing your own team, seeing your own name in those brackets, and then showing up. I'm telling you, Northwestern fans, they traveled. It was like a home game in Utah. All purple.
Yeah.
Crowds going
Celebs
crazy.
Were out.
Yeah. Everyone, all the Northwestern royalty was in there, except maybe Meghan Markle. I don't think she was there. But I mean, it was packed, and we get back to our hotel, and they're lined up back to our hotel, and everyone's cheering, and the band's playing, and it was an amazing experience. Obviously an unforgettable experience, and love that group of guys and everything that we've been through.
Now that we know you were studying economics that weekend, could have memed that and said when you get done with economics class or something
honestly,
like that.
Honestly, barely survived that one.
But before we wrap this up, when you look at some of the championship teams you had in high school, NCAA tournament team at Northwestern, and building toward that here at SIU, what are some of the common themes between all the championships and successful teams you've been a part of?
The biggest thing I always talk about when I think about the successful teams that I've been on are player-led teams. Just because if you have those strong player-led teams, then the coaches, all they have to worry about is putting in the plays, making sure we're watching film, getting us better on the court, installing game plan, stuff like that, so that they should be focused on not worrying about effort, guys showing up on time, right attitudes, body language, stuff like that, everything that should be taken care of when you step on the court in the first place. And they can do their jobs to their fullest, and then we can learn from them, and we can put out our best effort as a unit, as a program. So being a player-led program, but I also think there's well, I guess there's obviously a big element of work and putting in extra work on your own and as a team, and having that team bonding aspect as well. And then, I mean, you got to have a little sprinkle of destiny in there too. When it's the right time and guys put in the right amount of work and everything, and then some tough shots are going to fall, and then some big things can potentially happen for sure. So definitely a mix of different things.
There's some speaking in your future, isn't there?
We'll see. Or writing for other people to speak to.
Yeah. You don't want to read your own stuff?
I mean, I could definitely read my own stuff. You saw my stand-up. I can get in front of the camera too. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I couldn't tell that you had just chugged a whole pitcher of water.
Right.
You look pretty tame up there.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's a spot. I haven't watched in a while, but you can see I'll start off and I'm talking fast. I'm talking because you see clips of it, and that's when I was calmed down. It was like towards the middle, towards the end. When I first started going, I was talking fast, and I get my first joke off, and then I calmed down and I started, getting the timing down and everything. But I'm telling you, that water was gone.
Yeah,
it was gone.
I hear you. I guess my point was that you got this podcasting thing down. So thanks for being athlete number one.
I appreciate you having me.
This will be historic.
It is. It already is. Made history today, and that's a great way to start off. What is it, Tuesday? Start off a Tuesday.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Well, it'll be Thursday when people hear it, but
Thursday.
That's all right. Get people ready for the game on
exactly,
Thursday, right?
Exactly.
All right, man. Good luck the rest of the year, and appreciate you doing this.
All right, thanks for having me.